This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Right, when you finish watching this video, there's an article in the description box for you guys to go have a read. And it's from arguably the biggest coward heavyweight champion in the history of sport, the paper champion, Deontay Wilder. Why is he a paper champion? Well, because you lost to Tyson Fury. How many times do we need to explain this? You lost, therefore you need the judges to screw Tyson Fury, therefore you are a paper champion. It's not too difficult to work out. Now, Eddie Hearn has said that Deontay Wilder's response to Anthony Joshua losing was just classless. And this article here goes on for Deontay Wilder saying, well, he believes that Eddie Hearn is classless and how he told Anthony Joshua to walk away from a $50 million offer, all this kind of thing. But we'll get into that bit in a minute. First of all, let's go way back after Joshua lost to Ruiz. Rather than Deontay Wilder give any kind of praise to his fellow PBC teammate in Andy Ruiz Jr., no. That was beneath him. No, of course not. He wanted to go and kick a man while he was down because this is what Wilder does. This is why he has such a rotten fan base, all right? Anyway, this is what Wilder had to say right after the fight. Joshua wasn't a true champion. His whole career was consisted of lies, contradictions, and gifts. Facts, and now we know who was running from who. So that was his tweet on Twitter over there. So let me get into that one real quick, and then we'll get into what he said after in the article that's in the description box. So Joshua wasn't a true champion, yet Joshua, who on 21 fights against Joseph Parker, unified 3 heavyweight titles, something that you have yet to do. How many unifications have you been in, Wilder? 0 would be the one. And as I said before, you lost to Tyson Fury at that. Your resume is packed full of bums. People who you shouldn't have been fighting. But you did because you were always afraid to step up. Let's look at Anthony Joshua's resume. So his whole career consists of lies, contradictions, and gifts. Okay, so do you have Klitschko on your resume? No, you don't. Why don't you have Klitschko on your resume, Wilder? It's because your manager, the guy who not only manages you, but also managed Vladimir Klitschko and Vitaly Klitschko, said you weren't ready. You're still a baby. 33 fights when you won that title. He's still a baby. He's still a prospect. He's not ready for a unification. These are Wilder's, Shay Finkel's own words. So therefore, you bottled it on 33 fights. Joshua, who just had his 23rd fight, yes, he lost. But what were you doing on 23 fights exactly? You were fighting cab drivers, ice cream truck drivers, and people that nobody damn well heard of. That's what you was doing, Wilder. So how dare you even compare your career to his? Even now, till this day, you have yet to do what Joshua's done. You've never once been in a unification fight. You had ample opportunity. Again, so Vladimir Klitschko, somebody that Joshua beat, somebody that you ducked. Somebody else that Joshua beat that you ducked, Alexander Povetkin. You ran away after you lost a purse bid and you were forced to go to Russia. You came to the UK to finish off your training camp in Sheffield. Alexander Povetkin, he failed a sample, not the B sample, but an A sample for a drug that was previously legal and he was within the legal limit. So therefore, the fight should have happened. But you bottled it and you ran all the way back to Alabama with your tail between your legs. You bottled it. Joshua beat that guy. Joshua beat undefeated young heavyweight champion Joseph Parker. You did not. You tried to fight Parker, allegedly, by offering him $2 million. $2 million. And you expected Parker to accept that when Joshua was offering him how much? Was it $8 or $9 million? So again, you weren't serious. When Joshua won the IBF world title from Charles Martin, who was undefeated at the time. And what happened? Joshua defeated him. He became world champion. Did you do that? Even though it was a very, very easy fight for you to make, considering that Charles Martin was also a PBC fighter. You, PBC, he's PBC. Al Haymon could have made that fight. But no, you didn't want to do that. You didn't want to step up. Not at all. Joshua, on 23 fights, travelled to America. He took his belts outside of his country to defend them on the world stage. You have yet to do that. You haven't done that. Lately, you were offered $100 million to take on Anthony Joshua. You, a guy who doesn't make more than $2 or $3 million per fight. Your biggest payday was against Tyson Fury. Hey, Tyson Fury, that was what, 60-70% fit after how long out of the ring? And you couldn't get the job done. You lost that fight, Wilder. You lost it royally. Well, you think by dropping somebody twice, that wins you a fight? You've got to be off your head. This is why you're a paper champion. And you dare to even compare yourself to Joshua. You could have been in there with Joshua instead of Andy Ruiz. And the guy that you're fighting next in Luis Ortiz also had the opportunity, but he turned down $7 million. And yet, what? You first, Luis Ortiz, a guy that you've already beaten, who did have you out on your feet, granted, but a guy that you've already beaten, you're going to rematch, a guy that nobody wants to see, a guy who stinks of embalming fluid. He's that damn old. You want to fight him. And you did that real quick, didn't you? Because you thought that Joshua was going to beat Andy Ruiz and was going to call you out straight after. So you quickly signed for Luis Ortiz. You quickly, allegedly signed for Tyson Fury as well. So your next 2, maybe 3 fights, because obviously you'd have given Tyson Fury a rematch, win, lose or draw. So therefore, over the next 3 fights, you weren't going to be fighting Joshua anyway. You're a coward. You turned down $100 million. You will never get that kind of offer again. Even if Joshua, which he will be rematching, now he's activated that against Andy Ruiz at the end of the year. Even if Joshua beats Andy Ruiz, you versus Joshua will not generate that amount of money again. You lost that because you were too scared, because you allowed your team to talk you out of it. Anyway, the article. So this is what Wilder had to say in the article, which is in the description box, as a response to Eddie Hearn calling him classless after that comment on Twitter. Anyway, this is what Wilder had to say in response to Eddie Hearn. I feel the same way about Hearn. He's been classless the whole time. That's why the fight never happened. Of course, his guy getting beat, he's going to wish bad on me. That's natural. In life, people have wished bad things on me. That don't mean nothing to me. Hopefully this can be a lesson learned for Eddie Hearn. He allowed the biggest fight in the world to not happen. He allowed Joshua to miss out on $50 million. I told Joshua that personally. I told him, you're going to regret allowing someone to dictate your career. So Wilder's statement. I mean, what a whole bag of nuts that is. So he wants to talk about that 50 million. He's still talking about his 50 million. Why is he doing it? Because he has a section of his fan base who are so zombie-like between the ears that they don't understand. They just don't get it. And even if they did understand, they're not going to admit it, which is the 50 million. And Frank Warren confirmed it. That it's coming from BT Sport. Joshua cannot fight on BT Sport. Legally, he cannot. So that 50 million was a whole red herring. It was fake. You may as well build it in monopoly money. In addition to that, you didn't actually send him an official contract. You got 24 hours to agree to the 50 million. The money's in the bag. And you did that on Instagram. An email from Wilder, not the PBC, not Shelley Finkel, not Al Heyman, not the legal team, but from Deontay Wilder. You got 24 hours. Joshua, okay, so what am I signing for? Where's the money coming from? What's the terms? No, we ain't going that way. Okay, well, can we have a meeting? No. But yet you expect people to believe it? Of course, because you've got a stupid brain-dead fan base. So he wants to talk about how Eddie Hearn is dictating the career of Anthony Joshua. So Anthony Joshua would regret it. So let's just stick with that 50 million just for 1 second. Joshua fought Alexander Povetkin, the guy that you avoided, and he got 25 million pounds. Convert that into dollars. What's that, there or there, about 30 million without me looking? He fought Andy Ruiz after traveling with his belts abroad. Again, something that you've never done. And he got $36 million. So that's over $60 million that he got for those 2 fights, which is way more than this fake 50 million monopoly money that you offered. And you want to talk about dictating your career? You allowed Shelley Finkel, that shaven ball bag, to actually talk you out of $100 million for Undisputed, even though that you've always said it's about legacy, it's not about money and blah-de-rah-de-rah. You allowed him to talk you out of that. You allowed this man who has escaped from Area 51 to talk you out of $100 million, and there you are after Dominic Brazil. Rather than saying, okay, fine, I'll fight Joshua next, no problem, you quickly signed him to fight Luis Ortiz, and then a fight with Tyson Fury, because you didn't want the fight. We need to build the fight. We need to get as much money out of it as possible. Your own words in your statement after Dominic Brazil. A guy who You've been WBC champion for 4.5 years and don't have not one credible win on your resume. You could, what, Luis Ortiz? Luis Ortiz was failing the medical 1 hour before the ring walk. Are you sure about this? Is that really a credible win? And now you're going to rematch him. Come on now. You got schooled by Tyson Fury and robbed him. But yet, the head's not meant to be hit and all this kind of thing. In fact, it was only a couple of weeks ago, you were saying how a champion is truly a champion when they lose and they come back. I know that you're referring to yourself just in case you lost. Of course you were. So, you know, champions will win and lose, but it's how you come back and all that kind of thing. So Joshua loses, and rather than you go, oh, well, let's see what kind of champion he is, if he can come on back. No, you decide to kick the boot in, kick a man while they're down. No. Much like you did with Jarrell Miller when he failed his PED test. But yet you didn't mention, not one time did you mention that only a couple of months ago, your brother failed a PED test. You wouldn't even dare mention that, would you? No, of course you wouldn't. You wouldn't condemn your own brother, would you? But yet you condemn everybody else. You want to kick a man when they're down. You are a classless, fake coward of a champion. You're a fraud. You're going to go rematch somebody that you've already beaten. Good one. Good one. Because you want to stay away from undisputed. All boxing fans have wanted for a long, long time is undisputed. And it's you that keeps on denying it. You could have had undisputed against Vladimir Klitschko. You didn't do it. You could have had undisputed against Tyson Fury beforehand. But no, you didn't do it. What was your words when Tyson Fury confronted you in America? Well, you know, I've got mandatory obligations. In other words, Povetkin. I've got mandatory obligations, but, you know, we'll see. So you were saying a mandatory when you know fine well that unification trumps mandatory. Again, you bottled it. So that's 2 occasions you ducked undisputed. And against Anthony Joshua as well. That's 3 times you have ducked undisputed. You're a coward, you're a fraud, you're a fake champion, and this hardcore fan base of yours who's running around celebrating because Anthony Joshua lost, trying to give you the damn victory. You didn't do anything. All you've done is avoided the fight, lost out on $100 million, and celebrating? You should be crying, is what you should be doing. Your fan base should be crying. Your fan base should be pointing at you going, why didn't you give us this fight? It's heavyweight boxing. Boxers lose. Everybody loses. And you are a loss waiting to happen, Wilder. You keep coming so close to losing. So many times it's happened. And you did lose against Tyson Fury. You did lose. Your record says a draw, and that draw is a gift. And you turned down 100 million because you wanted to build the fight. You've had over 42 fights. If you're not built now, you're never going to be. You're a fraud. You're a bum. You've always been that way, always have been that way, and always will be that way. Anyway, Wilder, go screw yourself. Everyone else, thank you very much for listening. Click the thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all on the next one.